Yeah, but there's I'm gonna stop for a moment and say a couple of things about um, the concerns that some of the PvE players are raising about the end game. They're not actually there. They're not actually playing. They're making assumptions because they're terrified of what they think the end game in Dune Awakening is versus what the end game in Dune Awakening actually is. Now, Funcom, like any company that launches a live service game, is going to be adding content to the game. They will be adding group content, they'll be adding solo content, they'll be adding more PvE content, they'll be adding more of everything. So, I have yet to see a single solitary legitimate complaint from a PvE player. I've yet to see a single legitimate PvE complaint because everything the PvE players claim they want is already in the game. You can go to the Landsraad right now and participate in a variety of solo activities in the Landsraad right now. Um, every single week, there are like 400 different activities that this pool pulls from, and every single week there are a handful of solo things, a handful of group things, a handful of PvE things, and a couple of PvP things. The middle one is always a spice blow. It's always a spice blow. That's always going to be a PvP centric task. There's always going to be a couple of control points. Those are going to be PvP centric tasks. The rest of those are going to be PvE crafting tasks or PvE killing tasks. Anybody can claim a task on the board. Solo players can claim tasks on this board. You have to have a guild, but solo players can have a guild. So if a solo player wants to come here and claim a task, they absolutely can. Many of the tasks that pop up every single week have nothing to do with the deep desert. Let's see if we can look at these. Um, Deliver a standard kinjal. That has nothing to do with the deep desert. No deep desert materials required. That's just a standard kinjal. That's Haga Basin crafting mats. That one might. I need to know what the GRDA is. That's spice infused. That's going to be a little bit more difficult. Sand trout levers. Sand trout leathers. You deliver sand trout leathers. You can get sand trout leathers by the boatload in the amphitheater here in Haga Basin. That's a tier 4 area. Solo player can 100%. Matter of fact, I probably have 500 sand trout leathers in my storage chest right now. So I could, as a solo PvE player, I could claim that and complete it on my own. So the idea that is being presented by many PvE solo players that there's nothing for them to do is absolute bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just afraid because they've been told by other people that there's nothing for them to do. And that's just not true. There are so many of these activities that have nothing to do with the deep desert. That one is a deep desert one because that's a control point. But we've already seen 3, I think, so far that have nothing to do with the deep desert. They are all in the Haga Basin. Um, that's control point. Scavengers. Those can be anywhere in Haga Basin. That's another Haga Basin. PvE solo Landsraad. Deliver heavy caliber compressor. Again, solo Haga Basin. I have a boatload of heavy caliber compressors in my bank right now. Those are gathered from the encampments, the Masquerade or whatever they're called. What else? Regis swords. I'm not sure about that one. I have to look. Iodine pills. I don't remember what you need to create iodine pills. I would need to look. But I feel like iodine pills are Haga Basin crafting. Um, Industrial pump. Again, PVE Haga Basin. PVE Haga Basin. The industrial pump. I have like 100 industrial pumps saved up right now. And you go farm those as a solo player in the Haga Basin. So we've already showed like what 10 objectives just in this week's Landsraad, which is we're in the weekend of it right now. There are like 10 of these activities are solo PvE Haga Basin activities that have nothing to do with the deep desert. The idea that there's nothing for solo PvE players to do, it's bullshit. It's mythology. It's mythology. Oh, but the best guilds on the servers are getting all of those. They're claiming those before anyone else. You know what you have to do? If you want to claim these things and do them as a solo PvE players, you need to be awake when the servers are up and you got to get on and you got to claim those objectives. If you can't claim them first, you lose the right to complain about not having anything to do. Like it's first come first serve. Like and the idea, the only thing that would change is if they added more activities for people to claim from. That would perhaps ease, because the big complaint right now is, well, all the guilds get the good, easy ones first and they just leave the hard ones. I could see that being a legitimate complaint, but that's like complaining that you didn't get the good tomatoes at the grocery store because you didn't get off work till 4 o'clock, and the little old grandmother who can get there at 6 o'clock in the morning got all the good tomatoes. That's life. Like, you want to get the good tomatoes, you got to get to the supermarket first, and the little old lady who doesn't have a day job is going to get to the tomatoes first. Like, you want to get the good tomatoes, you got to be the first person at the supermarket. Um, and that's one of those things where, sometimes if you want to have the cream of the crop, you have to be willing to go out of your comfort zone and log in before you go to work and claim a task. Because once you've claimed it, it's yours. Um, and you can work on it for the next 7 days at your own pace. But the idea that there's nothing for PvE solo players to do in the Landsraad, it is absolute BS. Um, I'm going to clip this out. Nothing to do, because this is another misinformation um, video that we can clip out for YouTube. Because there's already tons of stuff for solo PvE players to do. So I think the idea with what they've talked about, with what Funcom has talked about, is just over time, they will be expanding the array of opportunities that are going to pop up on the board, and there will be more things for people to do, including more group things, including more solo things, etc. Like I said, the only thing I could see evening this out would be if they allowed more things to be claimed. But there's what, 25? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 25 things that we can claim every week. And it just depends on how crowded your server is on how quickly these things get claimed. But anybody can claim these things, even a solo player. You just have to make sure you have a guild for your solo player. Um, that's the only limitation. Yeah, I can't wait for the patch. It's going to be very interesting to see. It's going to be very interesting to see what comes in the patch. I'm mostly interested in story content, so as story content comes out, that's what I'm mostly interested in. Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be more oriented. So the current objectives. Hang on, I gotta scroll up here. Sparky says I haven't done Landsraad, but it seems like the points required are very high. Yeah, for sure, because they have a focus right now on the Landsraad being more oriented towards people working together. Remember, this is a multiplayer game. It was never promoted as a single player RPG. It was promoted as a multiplayer survival game. So the priority for them is multiplayer content. They want you working together with your friends to achieve these objectives. So, you're getting 23 per kill of sandflies. You need 10,000 points for the base reward, which is 10,000 Solaris. Um, that's a boatload of sandflies. That's a lot of sandflies killed. Um, that one also has a per control point. I think they all have per control point. So if you're holding a control point at the same time, you're also earning 10 points per minute for holding the control points. But on like the kill quest or the crafting quest, yeah, you have to do a lot of those things. And I think that's the pressure point that solo players are looking at, which is they want reduced items. Like they're like, I want to be able to get to 10,000 points and only need to kill 50 enemies versus needing to kill 500 enemies. That's arbitrary math. Don't use those numbers against me. That's arbitrary math that I'm using for the purpose of the argument. And that's probably a legitimate concern. Like having lower objectives for solo players, right? But those should come with lower rewards. You should not be getting 10,000 Solari if you're a solo player. Like maybe 2,000 Solari, right? Should you get still suit boots as a solo player? Not for tier 2, like maybe for the tier 7, like maybe for the tier 5 reward of that. So like first reward would be like 2,000 Solari, next reward might be like some resources, next reward is something else, fourth reward is a swatch, fifth reward is the still suit. You know what I mean? Like the solo objectives will be easier to obtain, but the rewards will be much less than if you're producing something with your group and hitting those big numbers. Um,
Sector weather alert. A
so
large
that's just the thing,
sandstorm is
and that's
approaching.
that's just content that gets added over time. But there's, like I said, there's already plenty that solo players can do, but I would say that there is a legitimate I don't want to say complaint. I wouldn't call it a complaint. I would say there is a legitimate critique to be made from the solo player perspective that solo players would like there to be more easily attainable objectives in the lands, right? And I think that's what Funcom has stated they are going to be working to address in the future. But also, to be fair, this game was never marketed as a single player RPG. It has always been marketed as a multiplayer game. Always. So stop spamming shit, Ellipticus. Please. I heard you the first time. Just because I didn't get to you right away doesn't mean I didn't see it. And it's really annoying to have somebody come spam something in chat just because they want to be heard. I'm not going to answer every single comment every single time from every single person. I've got 100 plus people watching. That's the easiest way to get yourself blocked is to
Sector weather
spam shit
alert.
over and
A
over in
large
chat.
sandstorm is approaching.
I'm in the middle of a conversation. You didn't hear me. See my comment. Let me paste it 3 more times. Sparky says, to be fair, there's nothing but the armor swatches that you're missing out on as a solo player. There's nothing crazy. There's no crazy advantages for guilds versus solos. Not really. I mean, like I said, all the tier 6 stuff is just icing on the cake if you're a story player. It's not like you need it for anything. It's cosmetics. Now, if you're someone like me who loves cosmetics, then it's a nice thing. Yes, AFKMR, they did say that they are addressing that as well. Still being able to get points so you're not locked out because you didn't get points fast enough. Those are pressure points that they are going to be addressing over time, and they mentioned that in the AMA as well.